do it. And we ended up. This was a big, silly campaign. So some of the gangs got.
So, hi, we're going live. I guess technically I've been live for like 5 minutes as I get everything set up. I need to work on the hold screen portion of this, but you know, I'm kind of, it's all very catch as catch can. So, we got a stream going, and there are other people on stream, which is a tech accomplishment in and of itself. So, let's say hi. I can do video as well as audio, or just audio. I don't, whatever you prefer.
No biggie. It's up to you.
Alright, here we go. We got video. Alright, welcome.
Hi, I'm Dale. D from JD and the Sump Sea.
JD and the Sump Sea, which is a wonderful
Oh.
like not just channel, but also Instagram and I don't know, probably Facebook too. I think we have to be everywhere in order to be online people. So JD in the Sum C is the keyword to look for, and I strongly recommend. If you have not subscribed yet, like you need to. It's must watch work. I mean, you do brilliant stuff. So I really appreciate you hopping on. I know we kind of last minute. I was like, I should probably see when he wants to come on because it's much easier to talk to somebody. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's nice to finally meet.
yeah. We've been adjacent for so long.
Yeah, for a second.
All right. So I guess we were gonna. Did you wanna? Do you also want to chat with us,
Mike.
You mean me?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike.
If you will have me, absolutely.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself? However you wanna.
Right. So probably the most important thing is that I was elected the mayor after your Nova event because I built, I believe, 169 buildings over the course of 3 days.
Yes.
So that is currently my claim to fame.
Yes, that was a quite a feat.
Right. Because it turns out when you have a 100% rate of return on the cheap buildings, you can just keep buying them.
Yep.
Yeah. No, there. So I didn't include limits because I didn't want it to be like, oh, you've kind of maxed things out when you're
right.
When you're playing for 3 days or whatever. And I wanted there to feel like progress for people who are only playing for 1 day. So it was a balancing act, and it was a little exponential at a certain point.
Yes, absolutely. Which for me it was fun. I had a really good time, and I appreciate everything you did to make that happen because I know how hard it is to make stuff like that happen. Because in my area, so I'm in the Washington D.C. area. I have run a couple of one-day campaigns at various game stores. I'm just now starting my third campaign that I'm running. We had our session 0 yesterday, which took us 3 hours because I just had so many crazy ideas I wanted to propose. So now I got to actually write everything up. We're currently voting between doing a Secundus campaign or doing an Outlander campaign. And right now it's 2 votes ahead for the Outlander campaign. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. So
nice. That's a good one.
I just happen to have gone through a fantastic one in Nova, and I'll probably steal all sorts of stuff from that to make it more fun.
Yeah, I think that the Outlander one in particular is one where I think tweaking to get your optimal campaign is the best route, because the built-in stuff is all very thematic and cool, but you kind of have to be playing the game exactly the way the studio intends you to get all the use out of all the features, and that might not be how people want to play. So I think it's one that works best with a little bit of customization.
Yeah, so right now my plan is to just simply use your buildings, but maybe make them cost more or something. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah. Add some.
I still need to write up my. I'm going to have to. So also I'm active in 2, some City Radio Discord and another one whose name eludes me. It just has the Necromunda symbol on it, and I don't even know how I found this thing a year and a half ago.
That's the main one.
Probably. Right. But I wrote up my notes for the session 0 that I held was basically 4 pages of just options. And that's why it took 3 hours.
Yep.
I need to just post it.
It's actually it's a tribute to how much development the system has gotten. That you could literally spend that much time on a session 0 and it be, productive.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Or you don't have to either. See, because I'm on the other end of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I never write anything down. So I expect everybody to remember it. This doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I wind up manage because my two main opponents, Sean and David, who are like the my opponents on the battle reports that I've done, um, are just not tabletop gamers. Like it's not their background. So like they don't want to manage all of the like overhead of like managing a campaign. Like it's not so I just handle all of the like updates and I just like text them like, all right, what do you want to buy? Like who do you want to upgrade? What advancement do you want? Like I handle all of it.
Sometimes that's easier because yeah, the new group that we're uh, that we just taught how to play up here in Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Um, they now have read more than I have lately on the books. So they're asking me for how this rule goes, and I'm like, you know, I'm getting mixed up with Gangs of the Underhive.
Right, right.
And, you know, the new core rule book, because there are subtle changes in that book.
Yes, there are, including like
They're all over the place. You know,
there was no limitation on vehicles being in the Underhive until the new rulebook. Like, or not vehicles, uh, mounts.
oh,
Like that came
Mounts.
out in the
Yeah.
that came out in the new rulebook. It wasn't the case
Yeah.
before, but like it was in like an obscure spot.
yep. Oh yeah, right. And it's, you know, I mean, they're coming from a brand new perspective, and they're fresh and they're hungry, and I'm like, maybe just, you know, we'll look it up together. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because sometimes I read a passage and I was like, I don't remember it being written like that before.
Honestly, no, like the game needs like an app that has like the most up to date version of the rules where we can just look things up in one place. Because like their rules are often printed 9 different spots. And like
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but
it's different.
that's the best part about Necromunda, though. I
Yes.
mean, that's
just
why
want
I like it.
I just want one document that has everything in it so that I can just search one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to understand the rule book is literally a hive in microcosm.
Yes, it's
Like
true.
rules are just all over the place, like a hive, just has stuff everywhere.
totally is.
They're
That's-
like bolting things onto existing systems, coming up with new systems, building
Yep.
building them on top of the ruins of previous ones.
Yep.
No, the metaphor
Sometimes
is
stuff
strong.
collapses and it just disappears. Like who knows?
I think one of the biggest ones that screwed me up right away was I keep getting mixed up with what's the cloak that stops you from burning?
Oh, like it's like Halberg or something.
Yeah, well,
Flame-
that's the
flame
Yeah, it's
resistant.
the incombustible halberd.
Incombustible
Yeah,
Halberg. Yes.
yeah, that's the Cawdor one. I mean the other one, the just the suit, the
Oh, the
Ogren's
hazard
get.
suit.
The hazard suit.
Yeah, hazard suit. So I would get that mixed up because I'm a meat neck by trade. I'm a Goliath player that's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
But when the Goliath House of Chains came out, and you know the furnace plate terrain
Mm-hmm.
that you can buy, that is also that stops the melta trade. And for some reason, my brain put the hazard suit in the melta and burning because the Goliath terrain blocks being caught on fire and melta.
Right,
It,
right.
it both of those things, but somehow my brain put it on a hazard suit. And I was playing like that a couple of times. I'm like, this is not right. I was like, there's no way this is right. I was like, where did I? And it took me forever. You know, I think I spent a half a night trying to figure out where I got mixed up. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
Now,
crazy.
once that neural pathway gets built, it can be hard to route around it.
Totally, you know, and I was having that discussion the other day because I was reading Ammo Jack from the Orlock book, and then I read the Ammo Jack from the Escher book, and something didn't click right. and both of them were saying almost the same thing. And then what was it that I was screwing up? Didn't the ammo jack in one of the versions of it be ready to play with your gang
Oh
instead
yeah,
of
that
just
might
being
have been.
now that's the Gangs of the Underhive I'm getting mixed up with right there, right?
Possibly. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, right. That's what I mean. It was crazy. I took a look at, I never thought twice because I know what an ammo jack does. Why, it just came out in the new book. I didn't bother to double read it. And the guy who was playing, he's like, no, you don't have to take the ammo jack. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, you do. Then he reads a passage and I feel like a complete idiot. Like, wait, I don't remember this saying this.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no way I was playing this wrong the whole time. But yeah,
Hey, it's fine. I am still stuck with. I haven't internalized all the new rules with the 2023 update, especially because heaven forbid we have a document that says here's all the updates.
no, right.
Yeah.
They need the
I
deltas.
could read that and be like, oh yeah, now I got it.
Like every document that goes through any kind of corporation has track changes. How do they not have track changes for the rule book? Like, come on.
Well,
here's what I keep saying. I have many years of experience as a tech writer. I'm more than willing to sell my services to Games Workshop for Necromunda. Get it all like straightened out. Like, hey, here's how you build an index.
yeah.
And a glossary of key terms. Like, these are things you need to do when you have a procedural manual, which is what a rule book is.
This is basic stuff.
I know, but I don't want them to change it that much.
They don't need to change.
It has nothing to do with changing it. Just makes it
just
quality of life.
The best part about Necromundo is you actually had to look through the books and read them. Otherwise, we're on to one-page rules.
No, I agree.
And I don't want that.
I agree. I don't want that. I don't want a simple, like,
Oh my God.
toned down rule set. That's the exact opposite of what I'm looking for, obviously.
Right.
No, exactly. We always have that same discussion.
The reason
Invariably, you get people bitching about how they can't find something, and usually it's me. But then again, I always have to remember, and this is how it always is. We had a rule before we started at the big game store, and over 10 people showed up and were interested, and all this other stuff. But the rule at our where we normally would play, which is the basement of my hardware store, was you had 5 minutes. If you couldn't figure it out in 5 minutes, just do what you want.
Yeah.
And do it different the next time, and then do it different the next time. It really doesn't matter.
No, it's true.
I figured out that if you had a stat line that had a number with a plus, and you had a stat line that just had a number, and then you had a stat line in the cool check area where you'd roll 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
You could just have one number on all of those and play this game, and you'd be fine.
Pretty much.
Because the 1 and the 6, if you keep the 1 and the 6 rule being the same at all times, it wouldn't matter for me because all I roll are 1s. So every time I'd roll, it wouldn't make any difference what the book said because I'd roll a 1 and it wouldn't work.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely often play with a rule where we're like, all right, roll it, then look it up. Because if it's a 1, we know we don't have to look it up. We know you failed.
Oh my God, yes. Jay would do that. No. Oh my God, he would, because we'd get so involved. Because remember when it went from soft covered books to the hardcover books, and then the House of Chains came out, and you're like, oh my God. And you write up these ridiculous cards. There's not enough room on the cards. So then you have to have a piece of paper with all the shit your one guy does.
Yep.
and you can't remember a damn thing. So you go, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to do this, 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 and this has this, this, this. Bang, roll a 1. Fuck.
Yep. No, it's
And
true.
you're like, oh my God.
Oh, you guys are making dice rolls? That's your problem.
Oh, I know. Totally.
You don't have to look up shit if you just roll ones, baby.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And if you have the fixer trade, it doesn't matter if you lose. You're still making
that's
money.
right.
Right.
The best part about rolling ones is falling. That's the best part, because as soon as you land and you roll a 1, you're not dead. So it's fine.
True.
Oh. That's a very, very blue you're painting there.
Yeah, the army painter,
Yeah.
not army painter, monument hobbies, pro acryl,
Huh?
blues are really lovely. They're so
Yeah, it looks
pigment dense.
nice. It looks very, very nice.
I'm gonna highlight it up to like a light, very light blue, and then I've been doing. It's funny because it's just glazing, but
Yeah.
in their tutorials they refer to it as filtering, and it's actually more accurate to like the specific technique, right? Because like you can glaze just over like white or whatever, but like I'm painting to a gradient, and then we bring over the the glaze that will blend the gradient layers to create that kind of like united. It's less extreme highlights, a much smoother gradient. That's the idea.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah, and you definitely prefer the smoother gradient instead of the very sharp contrast. That, as we discussed, is very popular among judges.
I'm not a huge fan of the like eye-popping highlights. I like my highlights to be a little bit subtler. That's totally a stylistic thing, right? Like, and there is a trend in, you know, because it I will say, like, visually, like, there's definitely something about like those like really intense edge highlights that like really makes a really well detailed model sing.
It does. Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. It makes it much easier to make a mixture of it too.
Yes,
well,
too.
Right. Yeah.
It's very bright.
And
like, I like darkness.
Yeah. No, I get it. See, I'm a big saturation of color guy.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my highlights be colored than go to white. Just like the shadows, I don't like going to black either.
yeah. As you can see with this one, I started with a dark blue as my.
No, it looks really nice. Very nice, and I'm impressed with your samurai. All your brushes.
Game Envy makes a nice brush holder.
They do, but yeah. See, some of us use coffee cups.
You're kicking it old school. It's great.
Just off camera is this, and then
there it is.
Yeah, like shot glass. It's actually my Dome Runner shot glass, and then not even on in anything, just sitting on my desk is the ones that I need to wash.
Yep.
But this one's nice for when I'm streaming. You know, it looks. It
looks very impressive. You need some Oriental music going on in the back.
I feel like I should paint it now that I'm looking at it. Like it's gotten kind of like scuzzy.
No. Don't paint it.
It's someday. I've got like all of these like I've got all of these like MDF drawers and stuff. Someday I'm gonna paint them all like weathered silver and like do hazard stripes on the drawers and stuff. You know, I just need to get into like I need to figure out my final setup, and then will be the time.
I hate to break it to you, but there is no final setup. No.
Nope.
That's like painting your last Necromunda model.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Not gonna happen.
Well, in order to paint your last Necromunda model, you have to stop buying them, which is my problem.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's not suggest anything heretical here. All right.
No,
We're gonna stay in the Emperor's light and continue to make Necromunda models because truly, can you actually stop buying Necromunda models? Because any model is
Every model is a Necromunda model.
is
That's
a
right.
Schrodinger's
Yeah.
Necromunda model. You know, it is both a conversion
Right.
and not a conversion until you decide what to do with it.
And now every Necromunda model is a Malstrain model.
Yep.
Very
All right.
It's really
Good
kind of
point.
unfortunate that I got on this Arbites thing because I actually was working on my my Gene Stealer infested enforcers, which is it's very thematically overlapping. So it's kind of scratching the same itch right now, which means that I'm really only focused on one thing.
Yep. No, I get it. It's the deal with projects. You got to make sure you you batten down the hatches and finish what's in front of you at least before you start off on something else.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's a beautiful dream.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
I'm currently like there's a I don't know 3-foot tall skyscraper on my couch over because I can't I don't know what to do with it. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it. But it's sure not done.
Yeah, I understand. Ah, damn it! You're making me want to paint.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Uh-huh. See?
Hold on.
Darn.
I'm a bad influence or a good influence. You know, it's a matter of perspective.
Hold on. Let me just. I have to make my own adjustments here. Hold on. Oh, did you guys see these guys? This?
What? What is that? I love it.
It's a candy dish.
That's so awesome. It looks like a little Zinch demon.
No, it's a video game dude. I'm trying to think. A buddy of mine printed this for me, and he asked me to paint it for him for Halloween candy. It's kind of drying now, but
It looks awesome.
the original concept was it was supposed to be alive, and then when I started mixing the oils on it, and I looked at it, I was like, it looks better dead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is working.
Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, see, you're working on that. And do you remember these guys?
Oh yeah.
I've started.
That's awesome.
And they're cool because you can move the arms out of your way. I'm having such a blast painting on these.
Oh yeah,
things.
when I paint them, I fully I fully disassemble the articulating joints. And then I get to paint each part separately. It's so satisfying because they just pop right back together.
Yep. See, and I was going to do that, and then I decided to paint this in oils instead.
Ah, yes.
So I didn't have to pull anything apart, which is pretty cool.
That would work just fine. Yeah, I've really been wanting to do more like surface oil painting. It's a skill. It takes practice, but then once you've learned how to do it, like you have, your options really open up, especially for like freehand stuff because you have so much more work time.
There is. All right. Hold on a second here. Auto focusing. All right. Sorry. Let me get a second. Well,
good.
My oil situation is an ever expanding mess. I think one of my favorite things about using oil paints is, and here I'll show you this is my oil palette right there. So this is an old Masters wet pallet, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but as far as storage of oil paint
Oh,
stuff
that's so
goes,
clever. Of course, a wet palette would work for that.
and it seals up nice, so you don't get the stink so bad.
Right, right. No, that's so funny.
Huh.
Like I wouldn't have even thought about it, but like it would literally just also be the best thing for that job. Just a slightly
Well,
different application.
yep. Well, and I buy the one that's for not the model painting ones. Like I got the regular one for the acrylics and stuff
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Army Painter. But if you buy the Masters one, it comes with different paper, which is
Mhm.
really cheap. It's stupid cheap. I think it's like $6 for like 50 sheets
Yep.
on eBay. And the best part about using it with oil is this thing never dries out.
Right.
It just never dries out. Like all of my thinners and things that I got over here, and I
Right.
got a little linseed oil in over here. They just stay good. All this paint, I think I laid this paint down 3 days ago, and it's perfectly fine without any problems at all. Now, granted, of course, I'm not using brown, but
No, it makes total sense.
That's
Like,
amazing. You should totally just do a video on your whole setup here, and like where you got everything, like include links. Like you should just do that. Because
yeah.
so many people have no idea how to do any of this stuff.
Yeah,
well,
and it's
I mean, I
not
don't know how
that
to
it's
do any of
not
this
that
stuff.
hard once you like
this
once
is
you
the
have the
problem
gear.
with
Right.
doing a video of
Like
my
everything else, you have to
place.
know what to do.
No, you don't. I didn't. I just started throwing shit on. I think
Yeah,
my
but everybody
thing
else in the world can benefit from your experience.
Just
Yeah, I know.
don't eat the cadmium and you're good.
Well,
Oh, is that where I
that's
screwed
a
up?
little bit overrated too. Plenty of Romans that live to be 30 years old. What are you talking about? Fine. But
Uh,
at some point, I'm going to make a video about everything. I don't know. Because I found out in the last year or so that I kind of like making videos too.
yeah, it's
Talk
fun.
about another hobby.
Yeah, I had to kind of pick and choose the last 9 months or so of what I was going to use my time for, and it was always like, do I paint or do I work on a video? And so I kept painting.
Oh, hey, whatever. That's everybody's got to do their own thing, and
And that's why I'm doing this like live streaming series, because
Mhm.
it lets me not have to do all of the kind of like technical stuff that gets in the way of putting a video out. And like
Yep.
this is a fun chance to get to like talk to more people in the community, like without having to kind of have like that structure of like a podcast episode. I think I'm gonna like I'm going to potentially edit these down into like a podcast segment that's like,
Mhm.
live stream chats or whatever. And if people are interested in that, they can download it. And if not, we can, just leave it as a video thing. But
Yep. Possibilities are endless.
yeah, I figure, I'm not making this like I have a career now that I've
Yeah.
invested in. So this can just be fun. I don't have to think about like, is there a way to
There you
make a
go.
business out of this? It's just a thing that I get to do that is a privilege for me.
Well, there you go.
It simply makes it easier, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like it changes the dynamic. Like instead of feeling bad, like I'm not doing enough. It's like, no, this is fun. If I don't have time for fun, that's okay. That's just me being responsible and like adult like or whatever. But like that doesn't mean that I'm like a bad Warhammer player for like having to take a week off because I'm because I'm like swamped with, grading tests and stuff. Because the whole middle school teacher thing it's a whole thing.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it. Ugh. So you had any of them rebel against you yet?
A little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
Got into like a little thing with a student. It was very minor, but like
Mm-hmm.
when she came back the next day, everything was fine, and we kind of like her friends were messing with her and trying to get her in trouble again. Like they were definitely instigating her to like do something, and I called them out on it straight up. I was like, "You guys, I know what you're doing. Like, leave her alone. Yeah. She is doing admirably well," and I like heaped a ton of praise on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she has not been a problem since.
Oh, that is cool.
It's all about that like kind of restorative moment with kids that age. Like if they think that they've done something wrong, like depending on their background, because some of them have these like these kind of intense trust issues where like they're going to need a lot from you to even get to the point of like opening up to you or whatever, like letting you be someone that they can actually talk to is a step for those kids. But for most kids, like they want to be in a state of like good grace with their teachers. Like they're not they're not seeking out being troublesome so much as they're performing like an act of like the word. It's not even macho because like I teach at an all girls school, but it's performative kind of it's very like it's very based off of the optics of like their classmates seeing them and saving face and all that stuff. So if you can kind of get to them and like get them on your team, then you can win. And then that's kind of in week 3. That's kind of where we're at.
Nice.
It's like
it's just yeah, I get it. I get it too well.
Yeah, 11-year-old girls are a trip.
Yeah, 11-year-old boys are too.
Yes, my son is 10. I'm like legitimately like freaked out. He's going to be applying for middle school this year because that's how that works in Baltimore. You don't just like go to a middle school, you apply and they like accept you or whatever.
Right.
Which is kind of intense. I kind of like the old way. But I get why they did it this way. Like the city was trying to improve the schools by like creating incentives based off of like, where the students went and stuff, and it is what it is, but it's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, I only have enough time to do everything that I can do right now because neither one of my children want anything to do with me. So
Wow.
it's great. I think it's awesome.
That is the nature, right, of the child.
Yep.
They want all of your attention right up until they decide that you are no longer cool.
That's right. And neither one of them enjoy my coolness anymore. Although they like the fact that I do a YouTube channel. They think that's neat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. Like students are often like, so do you have a YouTube channel? I'm like, not that I'm telling you guys about.
Yeah, right.
You wouldn't understand it. I wouldn't understand why you were watching. It would be awkward. Let's just not.
It's okay. What's
Which,
wrong
by
with
the way,
awkward?
if any of my students happen across this, hi.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're streaming on YouTube right now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. On Dome Runners. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Or on Crimson Oracle.
Oh, on Crimson. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone can see you painting your amazing action figure, which I've literally never seen one of those before. So I'm just
These
fascinated by watching your process.
these
Yeah, I've
are,
never seen that.
these are actually Games Workshop. Here, hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I have two others. This is the McFarlane models. This is all Warhammer 40,000. This is a Chaos Space Marine. And then a Dark Angels Intercessor. Oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
I actually did a repaint video for the Sister of Battle that I repainted, and then I did I don't think I did a video of it, but I did the Chaos Space Marine aspiring champion, and I printed a bike for him, which is hilarious how big it is.
Wow.
That thing's got to be like 2 feet long.
It's quite long. I have this habit of making ungodly large props on my 3D printer without thinking about where they're going to go. Thankfully, I actually have an inset shelf in my basement down here that was perfect for the Space Marine and the Sister of Battle. And it's actually got an old Spawn model that's like Spawn sitting in like a giant chair, like a throne, with his hand up with a skull in his hand, like Macbeth.
Huh.
Which was a
Totally cool.
like souvenir of my childhood, collecting McFarlane toys and then selling them all when I got into like college and not caring anymore. And now I'm like, what? Those were some of those were cool.
Oh, they're all cool. It's just whether you are or not. That's what. It's the difference.
I think
the
we
level
can
of
all,
what coolness is.
all acknowledge that Kiss toys are no longer cool.
Why not? Oh,
They jumped the shark so hard. The most over commercialized band of all time.
Do you know what's hilarious? Two of the people that can't make it to the game on Thursday, guess where they're going?
I'm gonna guess a Kiss concert.
No, a Judas Priest concert.
Okay. See, Judas Priest is cool.
Well,
I would go to a Judas Priest concert tomorrow. I would not go to a Kiss concert, however.
Really? Oh,
I find Gene Simmons very irritating.
come on. Jeez.
that's part of his charm.
Oh,
You can call it that.
He certainly feels that way.
What do you want?
He certainly feels that way.
I mean, it's New York people. So, how hard is it to get into Nova? Like to sign up for what you do?
It is not difficult at all. There were tickets available for each day, and I think there was even a 1 or 2 tickets available for the actual 3-day event as well. I can't speak to any given year, of course, because the dynamics change. But I could have added seats if we'd sold out too. I could have added like 2 more tables and 4 more
That's cool.
chairs if worst case. And
Yeah,
also,
we certainly had enough room in that space.
we never get a full house even when events sell out, because it's life, and like when you have 20 people, you're never going to get 20 people actually showing up day of. That's just impossible. Fate will not allow it.
It's the 80-20 rule.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Should bring its ugly head, as it
I
always does.
understand.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
There is also because I'm the organizer, I can also set aside seats for people. It's one of my powers.
Okay, well that's cool. Because Jay and
so
I.
since I just
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, right. So, all I had to do was sign up. The website is really good now. Like just everything that they have going on in Nova now, like they definitely have this convention thing locked down. Like they know what they're doing. They have so many people that are working on this thing. Like I've assisted them, like, I don't know, like moving terrain around. They have such, like, I don't even know how much storage space they have now for this convention for all the terrain. Because, hey, it turns out terrain takes up a ton of space.
Yes.
Like, who knew, right?
Yes.
And when you have a convention where you need to populate like just like for the GT, there's like 100 tables.
Okay, yeah, the GT
Like, there's just
terrain is
so much
that's
stuff.
GW. Like GW has event terrain that they let us use for that.
Yeah,
And let me
but
tell
still,
you,
like,
if I had just a crack at like the leavings at the bottom of those tubs of terrain, it would be insane the things that I could do. Because
right.
like it's all just getting packed into these giant tubs, so it's just getting used and abused.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. No, the reason I
But the
was
website's
asking
really
was
good. It made it really easy to sign up.
okay. The reason I was asking is because one, you guys actually live in an old neck of the woods that I used to live in years ago. I was
Nice.
stationed at Quantico.
Ah.
Oh,
Not altogether that far away. And
No, not at all.
my first daughter lives in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Oh, cool.
And
okay.
I at least she tells me that's where she's living. I'm not entirely for sure. She's 32, so it's that's her life. That's how that works.
Once someone's out of state, you know.
That's a thing. But yeah, no, I was because I just sent terrain to SumpCon, Chris and Steve over
right,
in
you did
England.
do that, yeah.
And I also sent terrain to the Necro Macho guys, Roy and Richard.
Yeah.
And the fact is, El, I wasn't sure where you were at. You hadn't been on for a while, and I was like, well, I don't want to bother her.
Yeah, I was on a cleanse, so you know.
No, right. Well, that was one of the reasons I didn't reach out, because I knew Nova was coming. I wasn't entirely sure when. If you guys wanted some extra terrain to truck around, I can always ship it to you. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about next year having like table by X kind of like plaques, for anyone who wants to kind of contribute terrain. Because it would be a fun way to kind of promote people who do, terrain projects. I mean, next year, Hive Market will be helping out with the event, so we should have a table of his at least, and then anyone else. I'm hoping to kind of get some guest tables and try some new stuff out and kind of make a little visual update, because I love the terrain that I've got, but it is the third year I've run it with that terrain, and I think that having some new variety would be healthy.
Well, it always does. That's true.
I'm telling you, all you got to do is build the table dividers that we talked about.
Yeah.
At least for the Zomertalis stuff you have, and your Zomertalis stuff is awesome. I don't know if anybody's told you that recently or not. It's fantastic. I particularly like how you took the special terrain and printed it.
Yeah. I really wanted to kind of like make the the stuff, like a lot of them were based on the Bad Zone tiles.
Right.
Because I had the Bad Zone tiles that I was working off of, and I wanted, like, there were some people who made STL files that worked with them. Some of them were things that I just put together with kit bashing and stuff, and it was before my video making days, so unfortunately I didn't actually capture any of the process, but it was I did take photographs. It was quite a bit of printing to get 4 full Zomertalis boards done, but it was really, really rewarding work. Truly.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing on all of them, so thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you want to describe your table divider for the stream audience?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So it's just a concept that I had a long time ago, which is simply anytime you have a tournament, it's just it's just a long table with like 10 people playing all their individual games, but visually it's just not that interesting to look at everything. So I was like, oh, well, what if you just put up essentially like, I don't know, let's say a 6-inch wide divider that was like 2 feet tall as like a terrain piece between each table, and then it could just visually separate everything, just because it would give it a more visual interest for the entire thing and make it just feel like, oh, like all these games are connected because now all the tables are actually connected.
Sure. Ooh, I like
And
it.
then, you know, if you really wanted to get crazy, you could make it so you could like go through the divider wall for like a big game, and then you could just have the entire, like, you said you have 4 Zone Mortalis sets,
Yep.
so you'd have 3 dividers, and you could literally go through all 4 of them together.
Right.
Potentially. I mean, it would take all day because, you know, you can only move at best like 10 inches on average. And going, how many feet would that be? I can't do the math. 12 feet, that's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while. I also don't know if those tables are 12 feet long. They might be a little shorter than that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but the point
might
is,
have to
though,
be 3 boards connected.
just make it more visually interesting.
Right. Yeah, no, I really like that idea. One thing I would definitely want to do would be like the having a doorway to the ash waste, you know?
Right.
Like going from the hive to the ash waste. That is the kind of thing that would be really fun to model.
Yeah, you definitely could build an ash gate.
Exactly.
And it would probably need to be the size of like the entire Zone Mortalis table, like 3 feet long. Because I always imagine that the ash gate is just this ridiculously huge door.
Yes.
That's essentially welded shut through rust, and then somebody cut a hole in it with a welding torch over the course of like 3 years to make like a little hatch a person can go through.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You mean like this?
Yes, exactly like that.
Yep.
Except maybe a little smaller on the base, because that looked like it was about a foot wide. It's hard to tell.
It's actually 9.5 inches wide. But
Right.
that is a piece of terrain Jay made 20 years ago for a huge 40K game that we had. And I did a little bit of a conversion on it a couple of months ago as a video. And now, of course, that was supposed to be the upper hive to the lower hive wall concept originally.
Okay. Right.
But now we have Secundus, and I have to readjust. Well, if you haven't gotten through to reading the campaign system yet, boys and girls, the Secundus campaign encompasses everything that they've put out so far. So there's the dust wall, there's the incursion area where the crater is, and then there's the underhells. I think they call it the abyssal plains. So in the
something like that.
From what I understand when I read it, you roll 4 wandering monsters, roaming monsters, in the whichever. They actually have 3 different charts for which wandering Malstrain horrors. I think they call it the Malstrain horrors.
Right.
You get depending on what.
So the main thing I remember,
yeah,
is the Underhells. You will probably find a Malstrain G-Stiller, and the crater you're gonna come across, you know, corrupted hive scum, and then I forget what you find in the ash waste, like maybe the little brain familiar things they have.
Yeah, termite.
They're absolutely not face huggers with the balloon.
Yeah, right. No, they are. They're totally face huggers. I mean, that's fine. Whatever. You're not going to start nailing GW for copying stuff now, are
Yeah,
you?
right. Like what?
No.
We're drawing a line here. Like what the? I'm literally painting Judge Dredd models that are somehow not published by 2000 AD.
Yeah, right. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, whatever. Everybody goes off on those tangents all the time, and I'm like, well, do you want them to stop? No. All right, then stop. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
just let them rip. You know,
Yep.
that's cool. It's not like they're not putting out one of the best quality products they've ever done. I mean,
Right.
It's what
here,
they
hold
do.
on. Let's see here.
It's the curse. They're,
Do you guys
they're
are,
so good.
are you guys old enough to remember the original Brood Lord?
Absolutely. Well, I was very young, but I saw it in the catalog.
So I have some of those.
The original Eggman?
I have one of the Naismith Gene Stealers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh. And just from that to, let's see here. Hold on.
Well, while you're digging it up, because what Ellie's working on right now, did you know that the first Rhino kit you got 3 rhinos for $15?
Yep.
Yes, they do. You only got one Razorback, which was plastic but had the metal gun.
Yep, I have 2 of those.
I
Yep.
used to have one of those, but I sold the gun part because it was going for insane amounts of money on eBay.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that because they brought back the last cannon twin plasma gun in like what 9th
Yeah.
or something, and just everybody wanted one.
I can't ever remember anything from the dang any of that stuff anymore.
You're probably better off. It's fine.
Hold on. I gotta go deep digging here.
But yeah, for me, losing track of 40K was the best thing that ever happened to my sanity. It was like, all right, I just don't have to think about the rules for this game. If I like something, I just make a crew. And then, like, if it matches the rules, that's groovy. If not, I wasn't going to play 10th edition anyway.
Well, this is
Right.
an interesting thing, and you're streaming this too, aren't you, Al? So here we
Yes.
go. Here we go from the early '90s.
I'm gonna
Plastic
zoom-
was
Yep.
plastic
zoom
was.
that
Hold on. Here, I got a better way. I'll
Yeah,
just push the camera in.
man, that is such fancy camera work. Like, I'm impressed.
So you got this guy with the beige plastic molds. Whoops. Hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was the first plastic that GW started using, was that beige plastic. Yep.
Space Hulk.
I definitely want a set of those. It is one of those things that I'm gonna be like a few martinis in on my birthday, like in like 10 years, and I'm gonna drop $2,000 on a still in box Space Hulk set.
Really? You
So-
want a
so-
Space
so
Hulk
if-
set, or you
if-
want just the Gene Stealers?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I want the full set, right? Like,
You want the full set?
Okay.
Oh God,
Okay.
that
well,
game was
in that
impossible.
case,
You
it's
think
screwed.
40K was bad to play? That first edition of Space Hulk was
play.
ridiculous.
Who said anything about playing these games?
So then we have this, and this is a second edition metal.
Those were the
By the way-
Tyranids of my
By
childhood.
the way, this was a $9 piece, single model in the day too. So for everybody that has a bitch about how much expensive everything was, this guy was $45 back then too.
Yeah.
I love
And
And you can literally hurt someone with that thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so heavy.
Yes, you can. He's fully like that. Hold on, let me go get some more deep diving here. Hold on.
I love how.
So Ella, I probably have like 3 dozen of those Gene Stealers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like if you wanted something, like all my 40K stuff is just sitting in one gigantic tote
Yeah.
sitting under the stairs in my basement.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's actually what I really do is I'm not the kind of person who like is like I need a complete collection of X or Y, because it's the way that the costs get driven up on that stuff is just, it's impossible, right? So I
Yeah.
take a very kind of
Yeah.
casual approach to it. So it's like I'll get all of the Arbites that I can, I'll kit bash the rest, and I'll 3D print the vehicles. And like, is that ideal? No,
Right.
ideally I would have all the old plastic vehicles too. But like, how many Rogue Trader Rhinos am I entitled to as like a single collector? Like, I think it's better off if I just print these instead of taking like 4 more off the market.
Jay's
Absolutely.
here. Yeah, so then we have
Huzzah!
this guy,
Oh man,
the original Lictor
God,
from the same genre, and you have the, of
They went
course,
over
the
the top with him.
gargoyles. Yeah,
They
we
went
have the
over top with that
gargoyle.
Lictor. I love
Yep.
the gargoyles, classic gargoyles.
So then, what did we do? We went to 2005, and then
Yep.
this model came out.
That was the
And along
Tyranids
with-
that I started with when I was
And
building
then-
my Tyranids.
And then you had this little beast, which of course was half plastic, half metal.
Yep.
Again,
I loved when
now-
they had wings as a war gear option, but not a part of the kit.
yep, that's right. That's exactly right.
But that spawned so much creativity from people when the
Oh, it
internet was
did.
just getting built.
Well, that was right when you could. That was right before they shut down the Bits catalog, where you could buy the individual parts.
Correct.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that Bits catalog is probably the thing I heard the most people talking about during Nova.
Yep.
Is how they wish that still existed.
And
Yeah.
now you have this ridiculous thing,
Yep.
which is
You know,
absolutely
just because a Tyranid Warrior is like 50 pieces.
Yeah, there's your Tyramite right there. And then you got your Maelstrains. And now we have Spires as well. Ah,
Yeah, I just bought my first box of the 4 Spire kit today because it was at the store, so I just had to do it. Never mind that I have 3 other gangs that are like in the cellophane box pretty much at this point. Still, like whatever.
I don't know what to think about the Spires. I don't know. Not the gameplay, right? Like I think every gang has its place. I think that people just need to accept that like there's going to be diversity of play styles, yada yada yada, whatever. Gang is fine, doesn't bother me. The models kind of aren't quite doing it for me. I don't know what's happening there that's breaking down. I've seen some nice paint jobs.
Well, for
on
me,
them.
what it is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just like I've seen nice paint jobs on them. I'm just kind of like, it's just not quite. It's not quite connecting for me.
Right. So I get that, because for me, what isn't connecting is how, like, the one it has like whips for hands or something. Like I'll be able to figure it out by looking at it. Like just like the stuff they're equipped with, like just doesn't read as a weapon, and so it just looks weird, and you can't, like, at least for me, that's why I can't place it. I'm like,
No,
I don't know what
that's a
this
good point.
thing is that I'm looking at.
That's a good point. That is definitely a factor. It is visually, it's busy, but it doesn't feel like I understand the purpose of the busyness. I don't know.
Right.
So, anyways, Elle and Mike, I wanted to introduce you. Jay, are you on speaker? Oh, there he is. My partner in
The
crime.
man,
there's
the myth,
Jay.
and the legend.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, Jay, Elle is streaming this right now on his channel, or on her channel. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh my God.
You're
I'm
fine.
sorry.
You're fine.
I'm glad because I'm old, and I hope you don't get mad at me. So
No, I am very I'm both quick to correct and very like it doesn't ultimately I get called Mister like I don't know 8-10 times a day. Like it's just not that big of a
Yeah.
deal.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, good. We got that out too. So, because I'm gonna slip up, I'm just gonna let you know. I don't
All
mean
good.
to.
It's all good.
Okay. Good. Oh, that's awesome. But anyways, Jay's here. How was the birthday party?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
I got cake, and well, it was my mom's birthday, so it was good. She liked the presents we got her and whatnot, so yeah, it's a good time.
That is good.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
I am currently working on this repressor, which they don't have in the Agents of the Imperium Codex, which annoys me. Also, they got rid of the rule where Agents of the Imperium could ride in other vehicles, so you can't put your like Navy breachers in a Valkyrie or an Arvis even. Like
Really?
yeah,
Right. Because there's a force field that keeps them out when they try to get on.
it's all based on keywords now, so they don't have the Imperial Guard keywords,
Right.
so they can't get in the Valkyrie. And like, it makes me not want to play their game. Like, I hope they understand that. They're like, it's just annoying.
So,
Is this 40K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Why are you trying to play 40K?
I'm not trying to play 40K. It's a thing that I do when I make a new kill team. I try to make all their transports because I am that person. And then I went into the codex. I was an idiot. I tried to look at the codex, and the codex was terrible, and it made me sad and angry. And now I'm mad about it.
All right. I got it. Sorry. I was gonna say.
I'm not crazy. I'm not going to try to play 10th edition 40K.
You read the rules.
It was a mistake.
So silly.
No, I have regrets.
Yeah.
It's that line about looking into the abyss.
Yes, because it looks back at you and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, no, it looks right back into my soul.
That just reminded me when we were playing a campaign a couple months ago. Next to us were some kids that had just gotten into 40K. Like they literally just put together their models and hadn't even gotten around to like learning how to paint or anything, which is fine, you know. They're playing the game. They're into the hobby. They've got like 30 years of hobby time ahead of them, at least.
Right.
Yeah, but they kept looking at our Necromunda tables and like, oh wow, like what is going on over here? I'm like, oh, this is Necromunda. The game that actually tells the story when you play it.
The game that you'll play when you've gotten over all of this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We got some people in Necromunda this past Thursday the same way.
Yep.
So they've been playing Kill Team, and every time we came down to the store to play Kill Team, he'd look over at us playing Necromunda and be like, wow, they're having a really good time over there. I wonder what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, like, did they just say somebody got thrown off a building?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. You know, Dale, you were the one that showed him how to play, and I was playing an Ash Race game right next to him, and you were playing like an Underhive game, showing them how to play the game.
Well,
so.
I don't actually think we technically played. I showed them how to move. I showed them how to use the dice when and where, and show them what conditions are. You know, because it isn't like that in Kill Team.
No,
it's not.
Kill Team does have they do have like a
Kill Team is a
status thing where you're choosing whether the guy is like in advanced mode or like hide mode or something, right? That's still a thing.
Yeah, right. But
so
no,
they do at least have something.
What he was having a problem with was the fact that he could just do anything.
Yeah.
He's like
right. There's too many options.
He's like, so I could just do this? And I was like, yep. It's like there's no rule anywhere. I was like, well, sure. I was like, we could look up rules all night if you want. It's like, or you could just do it, and then we'll move on. That's how that goes, But I gotta say, I'm really impressed. I can't believe we have formed the group that we have up here. It's kind of a little mind-boggling, to be honest.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
It's because of the content you're putting out regularly and good quality.
Thank you. I appreciate it, but that's we're not gonna run on that horse. That horse bucks. I'm pretty sure Elle can attest to that.
Yeah. No, it's I don't recommend getting too invested in it.
No. No. Well, I don't know what it's my mantra, right, Jay? Don't be a douche. That's like the first part, right? And if you're gonna come and be a douche, then don't come.
That's
pretty simple.
It's incredible how many problems that one thing simplifies. Like, it's just you don't have to have all these edge case rules when people just aren't pushing the boundaries constantly.
Yes, right. Oh yeah, right. Or trying to math hammer the hell out of.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I like the way you do it, Dale. You're just like roll the dice. If you get a 1, you fail. You get a 6, you pass, and we'll look up later what the modifiers are if it matters.
Yep. Just see before we go any further.
Because every time we'd play a game and I'd be like, okay, so it's a +1 for this, and a -1 for that, and a +1 for this, -1 for that, and you're like, just roll the dice.
We were just talking about this. Doesn't matter what your skill is if you roll a 1. So just roll it.
Yep. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
And guess what? It's gonna be
I don't
a
know
1.
how many times I tried to play that arbitrating and it didn't work out. It's like, oh great, now I have to look up this roll because you roll a 6.
Yeah.
Like, what does this trait do again?
Oh, there's that.
There's so many traits that proc on a 6.
What I love is looking up the trait after you've rolled to wound and then being like, oh, it went off 6 to hit. Does anyone remember what we rolled to hit? Like, are you serious?
Nope, not at all.
No one remembers what we rolled.
That's why I wrote. Yeah. Well, I made a chart to help me keep track of this thing. And all these different things that happen, all these conditions, all these weapon traits. It's a matrix of 6 columns because there's 6 different triggers.
Yep.
Yeah, there sure are.
That's right.
And every time I show it to people, they're like, "Oh my God, really?" I was like, "Yep, this is how you don't design a game, but that's fine."
I don't know. They've done worse.
Yeah, I played Inquisitor at Nova, so they've definitely done worse.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That rule book is a mess.
Yeah.
Well before they were having a real pro take a crack at the page layouts and design. I don't know about this, guys.
Yeah. I don't know about pros sometimes either.
That's fair. I just think that we could find a functional medium.
Yeah. Well, the trick is to just show up and not be a douche.
Yeah, no, you're
pretty
right.
easy. Kind of the first part.
No, that was actually the key to Inquisitor going incredibly smoothly at the event. Was that everybody who showed up was just like,
right.
I've never played this game before because no one has played this game in 20 years.
Right.
Not counting out Dreadquill because those folks are insane and lunatics and my inspiration.
Nice.
But
nice.
none of us were expecting the game to go smoothly. So when we hit these like weird things where it's like, boy, does every single non-combat skill come down to either like convincing someone or sagacity? Like, is sagacity the most important non-combat trait by far? Like, it's for everything. And it's just like, yeah, that's just how the game is written. Like,
That's great.
Yep. Sounds right. Actually sounds correct.
and then
All right.
the
So,
last.
so for everybody that's not listening, real quick, if you, I don't know if you have it available, El, but that terrain that you printed for those events was incredible. Like that was the most mind blowing stuff I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, so I have pictures that I can post of it, but I don't. It all lives in a storage facility in
Right.
Lorton, Virginia, because the con just it's too much stuff. I don't have room for it, so the con stores it.
Well, didn't you post them somewhere? I'm sure I saw them somewhere online.
Yeah.
Recently.
I posted pictures on Instagram of everything.
Yeah.
I have it all somewhere around here.
Looked awesome.
Let's see.
That's a game I always wanted to play, but just never did. I have the rulebook.
Yeah. It's a beautiful rule book. Like in terms of the art and like the fluff and stuff that makes it into it, it's fantastic. It's just the rules part where it's just like, boy, this could have used like a couple of editors. just a couple people poke over it and go like, this like, how many steps do you want the player to take for this role? Because this is unreasonable.
I think the right answer to that question is one more.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds right.
So I've been getting my Rhino base coated, and I'm thinking the last thing I do before finishing up the stream tonight is gonna be to do a quick glaze, assuming I can get kind of, assuming it's dried enough to go on. So I'm just to let people know what I'm doing. I'm mixing up the Pro Acryl glaze and wash medium with water. For my filters, I do about a 50-50 between the glaze and wash medium and water. And then I come in with a few drops of the blue-black Pro Acryl.
Nice.
And mix that up. And that's how we make our own glazes. It's dead simple.
Yeah.
And it opens up so much more options to be able to like make your own colors. And it goes on similar to a GW wash, I would say. It's tough on these flat panels to get a good coating in a single coat.
Yeah, it would. Like washes don't work on flat panels.
I'll probably do like 3 or 4 coats on the panels. But it does a really nice job of mellowing out the gradient. Because what I did was I added the dark blue that I had used as the base color. And so it kind of just melts those layers together.
Look great. Yeah, that looks fantastic.
And so you don't have that kind of like excessively peaked color. And then what I like about it is that you can then come back and if you would like to like really like do some brush work to like highlight some spots, the like existing, you can see the colors underneath, like through the kind of transparency of the filter. But it just tones everything down. And then you know, coming in and weathering and all that stuff will kind of you know, it's at times I'm like, am I putting too much work into my like base colors before I weather, because like then I tend to go pretty heavy on the weathering. It's like, does anyone
Yeah.
actually see these differences? But it matters to me that I'm doing it.
Yep.
So things like that make a difference, but most people won't see it because it's so subtle.
Right.
But since you're doing it, you know, and so that's what
Exactly.
matters.
Yep.
Exactly. But yeah.
Yeah.
If we want to.
At some point, L, you and I are going to do one of these, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing.
that
And
has
you're
a
going to
weight.
hate everything you're doing right now.
That has a weight to it.
Well, without you having oil paints with you, it's hard to, because I'm self mixing on the model
I love doing
with the
that.
paint.
I love that aspect of oils.
Yeah, but the amount of subtlety that you can just get. Yeah, and if anybody wants, my muse is James Wapple, YouTube. I don't know if you've ever. Well, he's on Twitch too, and I'm pretty sure he's streaming tonight, to be honest. But
Nice.
yeah, he'll take a model from just no paint on it to Golden Demon quality in just under 2.5 hours. I mean, he just,
That's how long it takes me to like prime a model. Like,
yeah, well, I
The closest I've
if you've never bothered to see what it can do, you should watch him, because I'm still a novice, to be perfectly honest.
No, yeah, that's something I have to come to terms with all the time, where I'm just like, I've been doing this for. It's uncomfortable to admit that I've been doing this for 17 years, or not. Like,
Yeah.
and actually, it's longer than that, because I started painting with like model cars and Mordheim models when I was in middle school. So I've been doing this for really 30 years, but like,
Yeah, right.
I'm still not that great at it.
Yeah. Well, it's expectations,
Yeah,
and
of course.
a lot of it has to do with ridiculous patience,
Yes.
which is why I kind of, for everybody that has if they want to fine tune it up without adding layer, glaze, layer, I recommend you do a left turn and check out oils.
Yep.
Now they work different. They work different than everything else, but an old rule of thumb that a very, very, very old person that showed me how to do things right was that anything that's coming out that says it works better than something else, you should check out what it's supposed to work better first. Because that's the bar.
Yep.
And oil paints you use so little of it, and like right now I'm going to apply just a little bit of a green to change the hue here, and then with one brush, and then you get another clean brush, which cleaning is just wiping it off on a t-shirt. That's all that is. And then because all the layers are still active, and you just get a nice light touch, you can start mixing right on the model. And then if you get a little bit of a thing, in fact, you can do it with sponges too, if you want to. Here, let me see here. We'll add something. See, the other nice thing is I can do something like this and then take it off because it's still wet.
But you could work time is incredible.
Yeah, you can simply just work it in, and if you go too far, that's fine. Just add a little bit more. It's not a big deal. but you can go all the way. And I don't know if this is showing up on the camera very well.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know, I can keep working this if I want to, or I can just say, well, that's done. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you've done an amazing amount of progress since you started, like, what, 30 minutes ago?
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, but it's one of those things that you just build up, and you all of a sudden you plateau. Whereas with the acrylics, and don't get me wrong, I love acrylics. I really do. I absolutely I've painted hundreds of models in the GW Mantra.
Yeah.
You know, hundreds of them, and they look fine, but they look better with more patience that I don't have, because I'm gonna guess, Elle, that you have the same issue that I have. You've spent 2 hours on it. That's enough, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
You know,
there's a
it's
reason I'm
fine.
batch painting these Arbites. It's like I
Right.
could spend like a ton of time trying to pick out all the details. They're old metal models. Like they have a lot of kind of weird detail spots where, like, if you spend time getting around it, like, you'll get a better result. But like at the same time, I'd like to paint like 40 of these guys.
Yeah, right. You know, and there's a certain reasonableness that you have to kind of have. You know, I mean, none of this is going to be judged anywhere.
Exactly.
You know. I mean,
yeah, the absolute worst case scenario is that I use it in a YouTube video, and I just don't have that nice of a camera, you know.
Right, and you know, I mean, you know, if somebody wants to come up and say, "Hey, man, you could have done this better on the model," I just don't look at my models, dude. You know.
Yeah.
Just go away. You know, you should enter this. No, I've already answered all those questions. That's fine. I don't need to be better than anybody.
No, right.
You know,
it's like it's
just
exactly
conflict.
the scene of Black Widow in Age of Ultron or whatever, where they're like trying to pick up Thor's hammer, and she's like, "Nope, no,
I've
not
already
a question I
answered
need the
that
answer
question. Yeah. I've already got that. That's fine.
to. I'm good.
You know? Yeah, that's fine.
Not insecure about my worthiness.
That's probably one of the best scenes in any of those movies, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It is.
The best scenes in any kind of those like ensemble things are when they're all hanging out together and there's not a giant fight going on.
Right.
Like, because that's what it should be character driven. Like, that's what makes comics interesting. But it's hard because film is just not as character driven of a medium.
No, it is not.
At least not epic spectaculars, you know. My Dinner with Andre accepted, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Getting back to what I was saying about oils, it's funny how with this medium you can jump from the beginning to the end in like 5 brush strokes.
Yeah.
Once you get good, once you get really good with it, you know, and then you're done. You know, just leave it sit. There's, you know, I'm just trying to get base colors on this right now, and I'm kind of messing around with a little bit just so I can get used to what the detail, because the detail on this is a bit different than it is working on a little guy.
Yeah. Oh,
it's much more fast when you're working on little guys like what you're working on now.
Yep.
Because you're just like, boop, 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 take it off, add a little, take it off, done. All right, good. And you could speed the process up even more by using acrylics first. Yep. Sloppy. That's a thing.
Yeah, you can totally underpaint it.
Yep. Yeah, you do an underpaint.
Yeah, I would have thought that the oil would have slid off the acrylic and you couldn't control it.
Well, and sometimes that happens. It all depends on how you mix the oil up.
Yeah, exactly. The thicker the oil, the less viscosity.
You know, like what I'm doing right here. Viscosity. Yeah, what I'm doing right here is going directly off the blob, and all I'm doing is just mixing it. It's very, very, very thick as far as it goes. It's almost like toothpaste quality.
It's
Um,
fragile while it's on there like that.
To a certain extent until you get working with it.
Yep.
You know, it's you have to have a little bit more brush control, but less brush control at the same time because you're not trying to do a set stroke.
Mm-hmm.
You're more mixing it, you know, and you're folding it away. And if I get a little bit somewhere where I don't want it, all gone.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you want a little
wet
bit
blending
more
on steroids, like.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you want a little bit more viscosity, you know, and you can do it that way too if you want.
That's an old joke that I used to see in the Old Hammer, like, or maybe it was Inquisitor, like, Facebook page was like, Warhammer 40k players, thin your paints. Inquisitor players, how do I make my paint thicker?
Yeah, right.
Like,
exactly.
We're
yeah,
thinking about this in a
I
different
remember
way.
that actually. Yeah, right. You know,
we're built
but
different.
it's, you know, I got so bored, and the other thing is just so much money on paint. Oh God, so ridiculous.
Yep.
There was one Necromunda board that I did that I purchased 20 pots of Agrax Earthshade.
Oh no.
And that was when I changed. I was just like, well, okay, that's it.
So it was actually, it was for me discovering the other ways to do like paint was because I was doing my first big board, and I was like, how the hell am I gonna, like, I literally didn't have the money because I was in grad school.
No, right. Yeah, right.
Like I straight up could not afford to do it in GW paints, and so I started learning about mixing your own washes, and that's where I started, and then got into oils, and then also into what's it called, enamels to an extent. It was really funny learning, like, the reason that I thought enamels were terrible paints when I was a kid is because no one wants to give a 9-year-old mineral spirits.
No, that's right.
Correct. Like, if I had the proper tools, I wouldn't have been miserable.
Yep. No, and you would have been able to handle it. Everything would be different right now. Yep. Well, that and okay, so arguably, the medium hasn't done an upgrade, these have.
Yeah.
These have a lot. Even the cheaper craft brushes right now are so superior to those piles of crap from years ago.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, very true.
Especially the stuff coming with like testers kits in the 90s. Forget about it. It was awful.
That's what I learned. That's what they were the same kit in the 80s too, just to let you know.
Right, of course. They certainly weren't going around updating with their contents of their boxes. They
didn't change shit. It was the same six colors.
So those brushes were made out of the same stuff they make toothbrushes out of.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes.
You betcha. Yeah, but you know what? There are people that know how to work it like that.
Oh,
you know, I mean,
it's
because it's all they've ever had.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't until back in those days, if you wanted to break from the norm, and see now, Jay and I come from the D&D capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lake Geneva's 10 minutes south of where I live right now. So we had role-playing games, not really model stuff.
Yeah.
Games Workshop didn't really come into the area around here until the 90s, to be perfectly honest. And then once you got mail order catalogs, you could order some of the stuff that they had. You know, you'd call them and say, hey, do you got part number, -012344. And at that point on the phone system, if you actually said what the model was, the guy on the other end of the phone didn't know what you were talking about
Right,
because
right.
he'd want a part number.
Yeah. He's like, I don't.
And then you'd be able to get the old stuff in, and but yeah, we never had models around here, so the only people you would use as any inspiration were the railroad guys.
Yep.
And they're all dickheads, every single goddamn one of them. They're all dickheads. If you're not doing it exactly the way they tell you to do it, oh my God, you are the most wrong thing ever.
There's a reason that hobby is not doing so great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's doing fine. I mean, it's all the same dickheads,
I'm just saying, like, wargaming is now a significant portion of the British economy, and model railroads certainly are like a great activity for the elderly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But it was just like, you had to do it their way. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, I don't want to do it that way.
Right. Like, but like, what if instead we imagined a future where like,
no. Because the other answer for any kind of muse was the historical gamers.
Yep.
And they're even worse.
Right.
No, right. The button counters.
They're so much worse.
How dare you use an 1865 campaign model for this 1832 battle?
Yes. You can't have that shoulder pad on that side. What are you, crazy?
Why would I even play with someone who has taken such cavalier attitude towards their minis?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Oh.
Like, man, you guys would not like the My Little Pony Marines.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I will say my favorite of all time weird Warhammer conversion from like stuff that you just wouldn't expect. Someone did. They were called the Cubes of Zinj, and it was chunks of styrofoam that they sprayed with a spray paint because spray paint eats at styrofoam, and so they did this like complicated like multicolored crazy pattern. They mounted all of these different size and shape cubes on bases with like flying stands and stuff, and it was a full Zinj army, but it just was not like, it was all abstract pieces of foam. And it was so cool. Like it was one of those things where it's just like somebody like really thought like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna go out on my I'm gonna go out and get this. I'm gonna envision this project, and like I'm actually gonna see it all the way through to the end. And like people were calling it like lazy or cheap or whatever. It's just like this person put the effort in. Like, we're talking about demons of change. The fact that like your brain can't handle the idea that there might be a version of them that looks nothing like what you expect bothers me. Like, you should
to a certain extent
envision that.
I'm gonna test you right now though to see how much it bothers you.
Oh yeah.
Christian Anderson as Lord Vader. The first Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he totally sold that for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How did you expect the Lord of the Sith to not start out as the biggest whiny asshole of all time?
No, it actually makes sense, right? When you actually think about it, it's like, yeah, no, that actually does track.
I was sitting back and I was watching everybody go, oh my God, that's not Lord Vader. I was like, no, it's not Lord Vader. It's the start of Lord Vader.
Right. It's the douchebag who is going to go out and like team kill. Like,
he's going to go out and murder like planets. It's like I thought it was brilliant, to be perfectly honest, but it was very evident after walking out of those movies and listening to people talk that maybe I started questioning myself whether I watched the movie correctly.
Right.
I was like, well, wait a minute. What did you expect him to be like?
I'm throwing up on the stream some pictures of the cubes of Zinch because like they're very cool. And there was a few different
so if you've
yeah.
So for anybody that's never actually sprayed styrofoam with spray paint, first of all, the results are always completely random.
Yep.
Because it depends on where the paint dissolves it, where it decides I'm going to harden instantly and keep anything else from dissolving.
Yep.
So everything's going to be unique and weird looking, which is fantastic. Also, it's super highly toxic. So if you're doing it outside, definitely wear a mask.
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Do not just think that being in a well-ventilated area enough is alone is enough. Like, be careful.
No, it's not.
Did you ever notice that they never actually explained to you what a well-ventilated area is supposed to be like?
Oh, yes.
They just say you need to be in one.
A well-ventilated area in like actual practical terms means negative air pressure.
That's right. Yep, exactly.
Which is not a room with a window open. BTW.
No, not at all.
What? I don't understand this.
Just like the vent hood on my oven does not vent outside, and thus far is not. It's just for show.
Yep.
It's like, guys, what were you thinking here?
Hey, it runs the air through a filter that you don't know how to clean and then dumps it right back into your kitchen. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, and it looks like a squirrel cage.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. They call it a squirrel cage. Whoops.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so I gotta drop off because it's time for me to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, same here. I have to call it for tonight. Thank you so much for hopping on and chatting.
Absolutely.
I feel like this was a productive couple of hours. Not too much. I didn't even have any tech problems. We're golden. We're Gucci. All right.
Even cool.
See everybody either next weekend or maybe possibly I might do a midweek stream at some point, but we'll see. So peace, everybody. Don't forget to change your paint water. Everybody, if you guys want to say goodbye. I forgot.
Goodbye, you guys.
When I do the double peace signs, confetti and balloons fall down because of my Mac. It's very strange. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you later.